All right, YouTube. As I stated before, Gary Johnson might very well end up in the presidential debates. There's even been the head of the debate, sort of people on the Elections Commission has already said, might turn a blind eye if he's close enough. He is at that threshold. He's hit 15% in at least one poll. He's at 12% in another. I think they're going to let him debate, probably because Clinton is self-destructing, Trump is self-destructing at this point. At the point where Gary Johnson sounds like the adult in the room to the average voter, you know that there's a problem. And I think that that problematic point has been reached. That being said, number one, it doesn't change my prediction. I still think Trump's the next president, unless Johnson were to actually get into the debates and do really well. But Clinton has continued to act a little funny. She experienced a small protest at a rally that she held earlier today, and people immediately noticed that things didn't quite seem right. She looked like a deer in the headlights, staring with this weird, like, stroke look on her face, staring at these protesters. It wasn't even like a big, rambunctious, violent group. All of a sudden, Secret Service rushes up on stage, pats her on the back. Oh, yeah, you're okay. You're good to go. No, you're still speaking. We don't have to go anywhere and stuff. Like reassuring her like she's a scared 5-year-old or something. That was odd. And then she apparently lost track of what she was talking about and attempted to make a statement and turn the protest around as though they were protesting Trump, and said something to the effect of, oh, I'm glad that you're here because Trump and his family have killed lots of animals. I guess it was like a Greenpeace protest or something. How does that make sense? Is that supposed to be witty? And then the other day, she comes out and she vows to raise taxes on the middle class. Now, of course, I have a feeling she misspoke and she meant we're going to raise taxes on the wealthy, because in context that would make a little more sense. But I think we might have heard a little bit of a Freudian slip there, and these people, these retards in the crowd were cheering. Now, every time there's a Clinton rally, they have a really tightly held shot. It's just on Clinton and a few rows in behind her. Why? Because if you look at pictures people have taken from these rallies from like the back rows, typically it looks like she's got less than 1,000 people easily at any of these rallies that she's holding. In fact, it looks like a lot less than that. Usually it looks like it's 200 or 300 people tops. Meanwhile, Trump is still filling stadiums. Supposedly, it's been like the worst week of his life. He's done. It's over. He's probably insane. He's self-sabotaging. He'll drop out. Oh, he can't recover from this. I'm not sure exactly why. They've said that a half a dozen times before in the election. I still think that they're wrong, by the way. I think what you're seeing in the polling is people are fixating on the outlier polls that show him down 12 points. They're ignoring the fact that the aggregate shows Clinton in the lead by 4.5 points. That seems a lot smaller. They're fixated. They're fixating because they don't like Trump. Now, when Trump was ahead, they continued to fixate on polls showing a dead heat, even though he was, for a brief, like, half week there. He was ahead in the polling average. And I think that she's going to slough off, and they'll be about even again for some time. My expectation is that she will be ahead by a point or two until the debates, and that's always been my expectation. Having a lead of 4.5% in the aggregate is not particularly large. That's about the same as the lead she had before the RNC. So why would Trump all of a sudden be, oh, he's done for real this time, he can never recover, when it's the same exact gap that existed before anyway? What that shows is that he buoyed up during the RNC, she buoyed up by about the same amount, and then it's the status quo. That's literally what it shows. And somehow this has crushed his campaign. But her reaction whenever protests occur, or whenever she is questioned, or whenever there are too many people talking, is weird. And this is not the first time that it's happened. I have a feeling that the reason she has not held a press conference is because she has had a stroke, or she has had some other complication happen to her, whereby when large groups of people suddenly scramble to ask her questions, it puts her off balance, in the most literal sense. Her brain can't cope with it. That's why Secret Service had to get up on stage and reassure her and distract her from the fact that there were half a dozen people shouting random things at her. She reacted to that on a level that I don't think a mentally or physically healthy individual would react on. I am worried This is not a joke. This is not a meme. This is not an, oh yeah, Clinton's old, therefore dying, or she wore corrective lenses a couple years ago, sort of aside. I'm worried that a presidential candidate named Hillary Clinton is not particularly well. Honestly, I worry that when she's up on the debate stage with Trump, especially if Johnson is also there and they all start talking at once, that she's going to have a mini stroke. That's not a joke. I'm not saying that because I dislike her policies. I do, but this is completely uncoupled with that. She could have the best I could completely agree with her on policies. And if she was acting like this, if Trump were to start acting like this, most of Trump's fans would think that's a little weird. If Gary Johnson were to start acting like this, I wouldn't support him, because then it'd probably end up being President Bill Weld. You're probably, if you vote for Hillary Clinton, if she does get elected, you'll probably see President Tim Kaine in the first couple years of the first term. She does not carry herself and speak like a person who is mentally and physically all there. There is evidence to suggest she's had some sort of brain damage in the last few years. She's had several falls. She fell on the plane. She fell and then was not in the media spotlight for some time, about 6 months before that. She reappeared wearing corrective lenses. Every time multiple people try to talk to her at the same time, she appears to spaz out. Now, it looks like she covers her actual reaction with laughter and cracking jokes. But when she was questioned, for example, by those female reporters, I think it was a couple weeks ago now, she suddenly started going like this and sort of stuttering. And then she's like rolling around her head, and then she starts giggling like a schoolgirl, and then talking about trying the chai tea that she hadn't even actually taken a drink of yet. That sort of reaction is not what you would expect from a normal, reasoned individual whose mind is working quite properly. Now, I know some people said, oh, well, she was just overacting. She responded, the blank stare that she gave for a split second before she started gyrating around and cracking jokes with those female reporters is the exact same face that she made at the protesters at her rally. It's the exact same stare. It shows that something on a mental level, physically within her mind, is not quite right. That's what I believe, honestly. Honestly, I think it would be very good to have Johnson up on the debate stage. I think that the entire American public, thus, will probably get to see her react similarly when both of them start cross-talking at her. I think people at that point will realize there is something literally wrong with this person. Now, I've pointed out before, I'm not a fan of Trump. I'm also not that big a fan anymore of Johnson. He's made some critical errors. I wish he would actually study what the TPP is before he pledges to sign it. I still think he's the adult in the room. I still plan to vote for him. My vote in this state, by the way, unless it's for a third party, doesn't count because Hillary Clinton's about 20 points ahead here. So it's just not happening. Trump's not going to take the state of Vermont. It's just Clinton could literally keel over, and she'd probably still get the state of Vermont. That's how blue it is. Or they'd vote for Bernie Sanders. They'd all be writing in Sanders at that point. Or maybe they'd vote for Tim Kaine or Biden or third-term Obama. That's what I have to deal with in this state, honestly. But yes, Hillary Clinton does not appear to be quite all there. You can look at it for yourself. Link in the description to this protest that happened at a rally. Look first at the deer in the headlights look, and look at how the Secret Service reacts. You might have to watch it a couple times. Not very long. It's like, I think 40, 50 seconds. They're like patting her on the back, reassuring her, and she appears not to know what's going on or what to do until the protesters shut up and Secret Service muffles them. Then she regains her composure. It's almost like an on-off switch or something. It's weird, honestly. Now, you put that with her several falls, the corrective lenses, and how she apparently had a mental breakdown with female reporters who all were obviously fawning over her just because there were too many of them talking at once. And there's something with this person. She's being triggered, I guess, by audio input in some way that's not quite normal. And that's worrying to think that somebody who will be in high-stress situations if she's back in the White House is going to have to deal with this. Then you have Bill apparently falling asleep or rocking back and forth with dementia or something while Hillary was speaking at the DNC, giving her acceptance speech. That was weird, too. These people, think there's a problem. Some people have mentioned like syphilis. They say, oh, well, Bill has like syphilis scars and Hillary has some little circular scar or something on her tongue. It's a biopsy. I don't fucking know. It doesn't really matter. But the proof is in the behavior. Looking at someone's exterior, yeah, maybe Bill does have AIDS, or maybe his vegan diet doesn't agree with his skin very much. He just has massive breakouts. Now, he needs the burgers to survive. They never should have weaned him off the fast food. He'd probably be much more energetic, much better off if he had a little bit of pudge. Now he just looks like a Mr. Skellington. Now I realize I'm kind of being a hypocrite. I look like Mr. Skellington too. But I'm not covered in like possible herpetic sores or AIDS sores or whatever Bill might have from fucking everybody in DC. I'm also not randomly falling asleep during political speeches. Although when Hillary was delivering her speech, I did want to nod off at a few moments, so I will give him that. Maybe it was just the natural reaction. Something's not right with Hillary Clinton, though. The idea of her being low energy or sickly or weak or something that Trump starts as a meme, I think, unfortunately, it might be more real than a lot of people, even who support Trump, would think. I mean, I don't wish that on Hillary Clinton. I don't wish for her to suffer any more than I would any other person, but she's clearly got something mentally a little bit loopy about her. That's about all. Peace out.